Hello everyone, it's Retroaction. Welcome back to Transformers review. This is Horri-Bull, released by Hasbro in 1988. He is one of the small Headmasters, or Headmaster Juniors. And now I must confess immediately that there is definitely a problem with this figure, because as you can see, this compartment wants to come off, and so does the head. Now the reason for this is because if you don't know about this figure already, he is quite difficult to find. He's very rare. All these smaller Headmasters are, like Fangry, Squeezeplay, him, and then you've got the Autobot ones. There it is. Yep. And unfortunately, because of this, this figure is very commonly broken here at this hinge. As you can see, it's completely been destroyed. And that's because this and this opens. So there we have it. So I must confess, this review is going to be a bit of a pain, and these parts are going to be falling off all over the place. Right, so this is his bull mode. It's pretty cool. He's got a fantastic head sculpt. Just trying to keep this on. Right, anyway. So yeah, fantastic head sculpt. Really cool. We've got the red eyes, the teeth, really good. Looks fantastic. Is it on properly? I don't think it is. It's an interesting colour scheme. We've got this like dark grey-ish. Yeah, dark grey, dark blue, and pink. It's interesting. Unfortunately, the back legs are completely static, but the front legs do move. They even bend there, and that's kind of pointless. So, yeah, and you've got this tail at the back, which will become a weapon in robot mode. Some nice detail and stickers, Decepticon insignia. On the back, not really a lot of robot showing other than the chest. And that's about it. Hopefully this thing wants to stay. So there's nothing else really to say about the beast mode, bull mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to, well, you would normally fold this, you'd normally fold the compartment. You fold this over, but I'm just going to take it off, and there goes the head again. And here's Kreb, his Headmaster trainer. Now he is considerably downsized compared to Lonzo here, as you can see. And if you're wondering what I mean by how small this guy really is, here he is compared to one of the 1987 Headmasters. As you can see, this one on the right, well, this one here from 1988, considerably downsized. It's ridiculous, really. There's no articulation other than the legs, but that's more for the transformation, whereas this guy obviously had moving arms and legs. And he's practically half the size, and there's not as interesting, unfortunately. So yeah, it's a strange name, Kreb, and there's not much detail on him. And, his face is all purple. It's not as interesting, unfortunately, as the original Headmasters. And some of these other ones, like the ones for Squeezeplay and Fangry, look better than this one, in my opinion. All of them do, anyway. I can't remember which one. Let's just put him back in there. And, he doesn't even sit in there, he stands. So, that's interesting. But he's kind of useless until now, because we're going to get to robot mode. It'll come back into play later. But yeah, there's not really a lot of detail on him. He looks cool, but he's definitely not the coolest. I'll just go and drop him. Interesting enough, there's like a plastic thing here. This looks like it's going to break. Well, it's a bit like the Decepticon Target Masters, isn't it? There we go, the plastic bit that folds the legs up. So that's the bull mode. Pretty cool. Not really much else to say about it. So now to transform it, I'm going to take this off and remove this as well. And take out this weapon again. That's going to become a handgun. That's his flamethrower, and this is his other gun, which I've forgotten the name of. And now we're just left with this. So the transformer, it's really simple. We're just going to fold out the back section. There we have it, and there's his legs. Then what we're going to do here is, you need fingernails for this, oh my god, because what you've got to do, you've got to get in here, get out the hands. Oh, a bit loose because there's some corrosion on the screws. And then that's practically it. That's Horri-Bull. Nearly done. And then what you do is you take Kreb here, and of course, the simplest transformation you've ever seen. And there it is. That is Horri-Bull's head. It's a good head sculpt. Looks great. Fantastic. But there is one major failing to this, and that's, as you can see, we've got the strength, speed, you've got the speed, strength, and intelligence there. But because it's one of these Decepticon Headmasters from 1988, interesting enough, the Autobots have the panel still. know, where it hides the the stats, but these don't. And if that wasn't weird enough, it's also kind of pointless, because when you put the head in, that's it. Yeah, it's... Oh, hold on. It's just getting in the way again. I don't know if it make a difference. Yeah, I'm not too sure why they bother with that, because if you look at it from this angle, it just looks like there's an empty space here. You can barely see it. It's kind of cool they include it, but it's kind of pointless on these ones, because you can barely see it, really. Why on earth did I just take... Why the hell have I taken his head out? Anyway, yeah. Also, you can't change the stats on these like you could of the original 1987 Pretenders, Headmasters. Right, anyway, so what's left to do now, of course, is to give him his guns. So we've got this one, which is pretty cool, but I can't remember the name of it. And this one goes in here like so. There it is. And then this one is kind of strange, because this is his flamethrower. This is a double-barreled weapon. And you can put it in his fist like that. But it gets in the way of this. Yeah, it looks kind of awkward holding this, and you can't hold it properly unless you push this bit back. So that's the major failing of this weapon, because of the port. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it kind of does actually, because of course it does, because this is the port that you use to connect to the tail, to connect as the tail, connect to the back of him. I can't remember where the port. I can't remember where it was now. There. So that's why that's there, but it gets in the way of the arm, and these parts here are really weird, because they bend back and it's absolutely pointless. So they're in, yeah. So that's the thing, and it just looks really strange. So that's a bit of a shame. It doesn't look right holding this weapon. It looks gigantic, and the fact there's a port sticking out on this side, where he holds it, and at the back. Yeah, because there's two ports, two 5mm ports that he uses. Take this one, and just go and drop it. Where did it go? That's back here. Yeah, so it's a bit awkward, to say the least. And that is Horri-Bull in robot mode. Looks great, but of course I'm not able to attach these on, because if it was transformed properly, But I'm not going to be able... All this would be on the back here, but as you can see, I'm not going to have a chance of keeping that on. No chance of doing that. This arm's a bit loose. Looks good. It's quite powerful. Quite heavily armed. It's got a great head sculpt. Interestingly enough, he is smaller than Squeezeplay, which is not the only... I haven't got Fangry yet, so I find that strange, given how small these are already. Because again, for size comparison, here he is with... Oh, let's put... So back on is the head, and I just knocked everything over. That's fantastic. Right, yeah, it's going well, isn't it? As you can see, he is, quite small compared to the previous Decepticon Headmasters, and that's kind of a shame. And the fact that he's got breakable parts, yeah, a bit of a shame. But this one is still one of the coolest ones. But it's just weird that he's smaller than the other small Headmasters, the Decepticon ones. Because he is. I put it next to Squeezeplay, and he's smaller than them for sure. Anyway, I don't know about Fangry, but I find that kind of strange. That he's even smaller than Squeezeplay. Should have made him bigger. I don't know why he's smaller, because he's a lot cooler. It's just weird to me. Yeah, there we go. The articulation, well, it's very limited, because these parts just look stupid hanging off, just sticking up there. And the legs, you're not going to get anything out of the legs, because they're all one piece. Well, at the bottom here, anyway, the feet are all one piece, and that's all it does. It bends back, and that's more for the transformation than anything else. These are static, again, a bit of a shame, because that limits the articulation in the bull mode. But that's kind of good in this mode, because these won't loose. These won't get loose, so he's got a good chance of standing up, and that's about it. But his arms, oh dear, these joints on these Headmasters aren't very good, are they? They're really stiff. They make a lot of noise. I like the clicking, that's good. But yeah, as you can see, the arm's just going to go backwards. The arm's going to do a 360. So, you know, the arms have got loads going on for them. That's about it, really. They just rotate at the shoulder, 360. Not even that, yeah. But I wouldn't recommend doing that. But there is no elbow joint. There is this, though. Yeah, that's not great. And of course the head doesn't turn. So that is horrible. It's a cool looking figure, very hard to get. I'm really pleased to have him. He just looks amazing. Shame about the, you know, again, shame about, you know, all of these parts that are broken off. But that's, unfortunately, that's one of the biggest problems with this figure. Because of this hinge mechanism here. But, you know, other than that, it's a great figure. Is there copyright in there? Well, there's some detail in there. Don't know where the copyright is on this figure, you know, there we go. Yeah, so that's been G1 Horri-Bull. It's a pretty cool figure, looks good. Again, it's strange, you know, only one hand holds the weapon particularly well. And, you know, unfortunately, there's a really breakable hinge, which resulted in that. But other than that, it's a fantastic figure, and I'll definitely pick you should definitely get hold of this one, if you can find it. He is quite difficult to find. And I am really pleased to have him in the collection. He just looks amazing. He just looks really good. It's a fantastic Headmaster. One of my favourites. My favourite of the small ones, for sure. One of my favourite Headmasters overall. So yeah, that has been G1 Horri-Bull. Definitely get him. If only they, you know, designed the hinge better or something like that. Designed this weapon better. That's about it. Alright, it's been Retroaction with G1 Horri-Bull. I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.